Hi, this is Dr. Rubenstein, and I am in Heuvelton, New York. And I'm standing on the banks of the Oswegatchie here, and we're going to look around Heuvelton a little bit. This is April 8th, 2024. We're up here for the eclipse. Right now, I can still see the sun, but it's kind of cloudy. But we'll see what's going on. Let me turn this around here. And that's the Oswegatchie right there. This is the dam, power dam that they have here. We're on the corner of State and Water Street. This is what one time I think was called Mill Street. And you can still see some of the original buildings. Heuvelton has actually been kept up pretty nicely, I have to say. The site, of course, was originally inhabited by a Native American group called the Oswegatchie, and it was originally named Fordsburgh after Nathan Ford. We'll talk about him in a minute here. But Nathan Ford was a land explorer and later was a judge in the area. Then it was called East Branch at one point because it's on the east branch of the Oswegatchie River. And in 1832, it became Heuvelton after Jacob van der Heuvel, who was an immigrant from the Netherlands, and invested a lot into the village, I guess, and had mills, that sort of thing. 1876. Now you might have heard of McCadam cheese. Well, McCadam cheese started here in 1876 with William McCadam, and let me turn around here, get another look at the view. See the sign for Rensselaer Falls there. Now, Samuel Ogden got Nathan Ford to come up here and explore the area. And Nathan is sort of known as was conspired with the British, let's say, to protect Ogdensburg. And we might do something about him another time. But this is Heuvelton. Now the railroad used to come through here. That's the old railroad station. Probably it's not the station itself, but what was the station for like goods, that sort of thing. You see there the bulldog? It's the Heuvelton Bulldogs. There's a free library. Time capsule there. Celebrating the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of Heuvelton, 2000th anniversary. So in 2012 they're going to open it up, I guess. This must be a little park, because I see it's established in 1912. Interesting. This is Lisbon Street here. And we don't want to get hit. That was a bank over there across the street. I'm assuming it's still a bank. It looks like it's still a bank, but I don't know. And then you can see the signs up here for the Bulldogs. Another little look around. We are heading north. And this is Route 812. Oh, the library right there. See the library? St. Raphael's Church. The Heuvelton Free Library. 57 State Street. And then up here, interesting, it's not called Main Street, it's called State Street. The other thing that's interesting about Heuvelton, it's where Franklin Delano Roosevelt and the Canadian Prime Minister of, well, Canada, obviously, King, met in 1940 and had the Ogdensburg Agreement. They did it here in Heuvelton. And what we find is that they formed a joint defense force, which is still, I think, in work today. This is the town of Oswegatchie. Let's look at this here a second. World War II honor roll, 1941 to 1945. A lot of people served. Now, at the end of the street there, you'll see that white building at the end. That is the old McCadam Cheese plant. And as I said, he started that in 1876. I don't know if that's the original location, but that was the plant. This is City Hall, Village Hall. Actually, it's the town hall. Heuvelton isn't a village as such. It's more of a hamlet, I guess. I don't think they have any sort of mayor or anything like that. Walk through some of the back streets here. Now that over there used to be the Heuvelton Wesleyan Church. However, I am not sure. Now I think it's an extension of Morley Church or something of that nature. I'm not sure. But you get an idea of the streets in Heuvelton. I have to say, in some respects, Heuvelton has a nicer look than Ogdensburg does in some of its spots. This is Justina, New York. Now it's called Grace Point Church, a ministry of the Lisbon Wesleyan Church. So Heuvelton Church is gone. Now up at the end of the road here, let me get out here a little bit better. That is the Heuvelton Central School up at the end of the road. Kindergarten through 12th grade. Again, Walking some of the back streets of Heuvelton. Now I'll be showing you maps of Heuvelton. Probably be some popping up along the way. Probably have already seen one or two. So you have an idea of what we're looking at here. That was a school bell. Of course, it's Monday. And although there's an eclipse, people are still carrying on with their daily lives. Now we're coming up to an interesting intersection. This is John Street that you see ahead of us here. We're going to go down John Street the other way. There's a doggy. But what's odd here is John Street used to be named James Street. And it went right straight through here and continued on up to where the school is. So it used to go straight, and then over here, between here and the other road, okay, James Street used to go right up through there. And there you see it goes down that way. But the Vander Heuvel mansion used to be over here, which I find interesting. I don't know what's this about, but so that's interesting. Back in there somewhere was the Vander Heuvel mansion. It's gone, and the street that it was on is gone. And this is a cemetery we're coming up on here. And this used to be called Rensselaer Road. And it is still called Rensselaer Road, or Rensselaer Street. And there's the local cemetery. But no, there is no look for a Vander Heuvel home or mansion. Very interesting. And there's a cemetery, little cemetery. So 1832, it became Heuvelton. And as I say, at that time, John Street was called James Street. I'm not quite sure why there's changes or what occurred. And we do see a mix here of homes. That looks like an older home there. It looks like an older home behind it. I don't know. But the street's gone. We'll walk down this way, heading back towards where we started from. It's interesting that there is no there's not even a sign. And usually they have, you know, even if the home's gone, you'll find signs of, old post office, old schools, things of that nature. But I don't see anything like that here. Not really. And I find that, well, I find it's a nice little walk. It's a gorgeous little village, town, hamlet, whatever you want to call it. But it's nice. And as I say, my wife grew up around here. She didn't grow up in Heuvelton itself, a few miles outside of town. Went to Heuvelton High School. I think she came first or second grade. She was living in Ogdensburg, and they moved out this way. But it's a nice place. Quiet. Homes are well kept. And of course I'm here on a Monday in the morning, so you know, it might be a little quieter anyways. So I'll turn this around again. And we've come up on Lisbon Street. That's the town garages and things that way. And the Amish are here also. I forgot to mention the Amish. They moved in the 60s, I guess. And so here you can see some Amish people. They're not too friendly with cameras, usually. But, you know, they will ride in your car if they need a ride. Sort of interesting that way. Coming up on York Street. One of the older homes over there, I would think. And this, we are coming up to, I think it's a Presbyterian church. Yes, it is. This is a Presbyterian church on York and Lisbon Street. And we are going to head down Lisbon Street here. I think that's the parking lot for the church there. And we're walking down towards the Oswegatchie. See some of the town, some of the back streets. Hello. And we're coming back down to Water Street, which, as I say, I think was once called Mill Street. On the corner used to be a vet. I don't know if he's a vet anymore. We had a cat when we lived up here. We lived up in this area for, wow. I moved into the area in '79, and we moved out of this part of the North Country in '94. We moved out altogether to Troy in '99. So we've kind of made a little trip around. There's some homes and things on the other side, much similar to this side, although we are in the main part of the area. And out over there, that's the Oswegatchie. And here's the dam and the bridge. And these are inflatable, high voltage, these are inflatable dams. So they can lower them when they want to. Well, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed our look around town. Please subscribe, ring the bell, hit the like button, and leave a comment. And we shall see what we shall see here. And well, like I say, have a good day. Bye now. This is Dr. Rugenstein. Thank you for watching. I really, truly appreciate it. Please help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Have a good day.